Verse 234. And those who are taken in death among you and leave wives behind, they shall wait 4 months and 10. When they have fulfilled their term, then there is no blame upon you for what they do with themselves in an acceptable manner. And Allah is acquainted with what you do. Explanation. 1. Waiting period for widows, Iddah. The waiting period of 4 months and 10 days is mandatory for widows to ensure clarity regarding potential pregnancies and to honor the deceased husband. Adherence to this period is required unless the widow is pregnant, in which case the Iddah lasts until delivery. 2. Freedom after Iddah. Once the waiting period ends, the widow is free to remarry or make personal decisions without interference, as long as it is within the bounds of Islamic principles. 3. Allah's knowledge. The verse emphasizes Allah's awareness of all actions, encouraging sincerity and adherence to His commands. Verse 235. And there is no blame upon you for that to which you allude concerning a proposal to women or for what you conceal within yourselves. Allah knows that you will have them in mind. But do not promise them secretly except for saying a proper saying. And do not determine to undertake a marriage contract until the decreed period reaches its end. And know that Allah knows what is within yourselves, so beware of Him. And know that Allah is forgiving and forbearing. Explanation. 1. Proposals during Iddah. Indirectly expressing interest in marrying a widow during her Iddah is permissible, but direct marriage proposals or contracts are prohibited until the waiting period ends. This ruling respects the sanctity of the waiting period and prevents emotional manipulation. 2. Proper conduct. Communication must remain respectful and devoid of secret promises or inappropriate behavior. Scholars emphasize modesty and honor in all interactions. 3. Divine awareness. The verse highlights Allah's knowledge of intentions and actions, encouraging believers to act with piety and sincerity. 4. Forgiveness and forbearance. Allah's attributes of forgiveness and forbearance reassure believers of His mercy while encouraging mindfulness of His laws. Verse 236. There is no blame upon you if you divorce women you have not touched nor specified for them an obligation. But give them compensation, the wealthy according to his capability and the poor according to his capability, a provision according to what is acceptable, a duty upon the doors of good. Explanation. 1. Divorce before consummation. If a marriage is dissolved before consummation and no dowry, mahr, was specified, the husband must still provide a gift of compensation, matar, based on his financial ability. 2. Mutual respect. This provision ensures that the woman is treated with dignity, even in the case of a dissolved marriage. 3. Encouraging generosity. The duty of compensation reflects the importance of kindness and fairness in marital and post-marital relationships. Verse 237. And if you divorce them before you have touched them but you have already specified for them an obligation, then half of what you specified, unless they forego or the one in whose hand is the marriage contract forgoes it. And to forego is nearer to righteousness. And do not forget graciousness between you. Indeed, Allah, of whatever you do, is seeing. Explanation. 1. Dowry in case of divorce. If a dowry was specified but the marriage was not consummated, the husband must pay half of the agreed amount unless the wife willingly waives her right or the husband chooses to pay in full. 2. Encouragement of forgiveness. Waiving one's rights, whether by the husband or wife, is considered a noble act closer to piety, taqwa. 3. Graciousness in relationships. The verse emphasizes the importance of kindness and magnanimity, even during separation, reflecting the ethical values of Islam. Verse 238. Maintain with care the prayers and the middle prayer and stand before Allah, devoutly obedient. Explanation. 1. Importance of prayer. This ayah highlights the significance of preserving all obligatory prayers, salat, as a means of maintaining a connection with Allah. 2. The middle prayer. The middle prayer is often interpreted as the Ars prayer in Shia tradition, though some scholars consider other possibilities like the Fajr prayer. Its mention emphasizes its special status. 3. Devotion in worship. The verse calls for complete humility and focus during prayer, underscoring its spiritual importance. Verse 239. And if you fear on foot or riding. But when you are secure, then remember Allah as He has taught you that which you did not know. 1. Flexibility in prayer. In cases of danger or fear, such as during battle or travel, believers are permitted to pray in a simplified manner, whether standing, walking, or riding. 2. Continuous remembrance of Allah. The verse stresses the importance of remembering Allah in all circumstances, reflecting the adaptability and universality of Islamic worship. 3. Acknowledging divine guidance. The mention of Allah's teachings reminds believers of their dependence on His wisdom and mercy. Verse 240. And those who are taken in death among you and leave wives behind, for their wives is a bequest, maintenance for 1 year without turning out. But if they leave, then there is no blame upon you for what they do with themselves in an acceptable way. And Allah is exalted in might and wise. 1. 1 year maintenance for widows. This verse is addressing the importance of financial support for widows for up to 1 year if they remain in their husband's household. This ruling is considered complementary to the 4-month and 10-day iddah. 2. Freedom to leave. If the widow chooses to leave the household after the iddah, she is free to do so, provided her actions align with Islamic principles. 3. Divine attributes. Allah's might and wisdom are emphasized, reflecting the balance and justice in His rulings. Verse 241. And for divorced women is a provision according to what is acceptable, a duty upon the righteous. 1. Support for divorced women. The verse mandates that divorced women should receive financial support appropriate to the husband's means, ensuring their dignity and well-being. 2. Encouragement of righteousness. Providing for divorced women is described as a duty for those who are conscious of Allah, promoting generosity and compassion. Verse 242. Thus does Allah make clear to you His verses that you might use reason. Explanation. 1. Clarity of divine guidance. The rulings provided in these verses are presented as clear, rational, and just, encouraging believers to reflect and apply them wisely. 2. Encouragement of reason. This verse highlights the emphasis on reasoning, aql, in Islamic teachings, urging believers to understand and implement divine laws thoughtfully. Key themes. 1. Compassion and fairness in family matters. These verses emphasize fairness and dignity in dealing with widows, divorced women, and marital disputes. 2. Balance between rights and responsibilities. Both men and women are given specific rights and duties, ensuring justice and mutual respect. 3. Continuous connection with Allah. Prayer and remembrance of Allah are central to navigating life's challenges and maintaining spiritual focus.